then any audience member watching this can ask a question by clicking the button at the bottom of the screen and literally speaking their question out loud. For example, what age group are we going for?
The focus is on millennials and older Generation Z, specifically those aged 25 to 40.
So the agent is using all of the context from the presentation to answer those questions. If you've built your Google Slides presentation, but you're looking to make it a bit more dynamic and interesting, then you're in the right place, because I'm going to show you everything you need to know about using transitions and animations in Google Slides, and I'm going to show you how Jotform can help make them more interactive too. Let's dive in. Here's the presentation I'm working on today. You can see it's just super simple. There's no transitions or any animations on any of the slides. It's just one slide appearing after another. It's for a completely made up company's product launch, and I want to make it a bit more interesting. So the first thing I'm going to do is add transitions. Transitions are the animations that happen between each slide. So you can have one slide fade out into the next one, or perhaps it can move across the screen and let the other one in. And the way that I do this is to click the transition button in the menu bar at the top of the screen in Google Slides here. That opens up this side panel with the different options for transitions. And you can see right now it just says none. Now to set a transition for a slide, it will always be the transition coming into the slide. That means that to start with, I want to select slide 2 here, and I'm going to change the transition to fade, and then I'm going to click over onto slide 3, and I'm going to choose a different transition so you can see some different examples, and I'm going to say slide from the left, and then for slide 4 I'm going to choose this flip option here. And for each transition, you can see there's also a slider for the speed. So if you want it to go a bit more slowly, I'm going to change this to 2.5 seconds. You can do that. And if you just want a simple transition like a fade to apply to all of the slides, you can click on apply to all slides here. And now that I've added a few, I'm going to go back to the second slide here, and I can click play to see what the transition is going to look like from that first slide into the second slide. It's a bit too quick at the moment, so I'm going to click stop, change the speed like this, and then click play again, and I can check what that's going to look like. Click stop again, I can go across to the next slide and click play to see it. And that's how the sliding's looking. And don't forget, you can always click the slideshow button at the top of the screen just to play the slideshow from the beginning, where you'll be able to click through each of the slides and see the transition in real time as well. So that's how we animate the transition between each slide. But what if I've got a slide with a few different objects like this one, where I've got 4 different points on the slide, and I want them just to gently animate into the slide to make it a bit more visually interesting to look at. The first thing we're going to do with something like this is make sure I've highlighted and then right-clicked and then grouped all of these things together so they will animate all in one go. Now I can click anywhere on one of those groups, and in that same motion panel that we still have open over here, I can click add animation, and you see by default it adds an animation to appear on click, which means it will just show up on the slide when I click. I want something a bit more interesting than that, so I'm going to choose a fade in like this. I'm going to leave this on click, so when I click on my mouse it will then fade in that box. And just so it's easier to see in this demo, I'm going to make this 2.5 seconds in length. Then I'm going to click on the second group over here and click add animation. Again, the default animation is to appear on click. I'm going to change this to fade in, but this time I'm going to change on click to after previous, which means when I click, the first one will appear, and then automatically once that animation is done, this one will appear too. So I don't have to keep clicking to do it. I've also got the option to do with previous, which means when I click and the first one plays, then this one will play at exactly the same time with that previous animation. So I choose after previous, I'm going to change the timing again down to 2.5 seconds, and I'm going to repeat this for the final 2 groups like this. I'm going to choose fade in again, and I'm going to choose after previous, change the timing to 2.5 seconds, and same for the last one here as well. Again, if I want to preview this, I can just click play and it will show me the preview in the viewer here. Or you could have clicked the slideshow button as well to play the actual slideshow. And if I click on the slide, it will now work through all 4 of those animations. You see the first one appeared, it faded in once that finished, the next one, and so on. Once I'm happy, I just click stop. I can add or change those animations if I want to. And the last thing to know about animations is that you can move them around by using the drag handles on the right-hand side. So if you wanted these to appear in a different order for some reason, you just click and drag the different objects in this list, and it will always go from top to bottom. And if ever you're looking to do these animations, but for some reason you don't have that side panel open, the way to get there is to go to View and then Motion, and it will pop that side panel back out with all of those settings that you need. That's how we can animate shapes and objects, but you can also animate text. And so if you have multiple paragraphs of text in a text box, there are a few different options that I want to show you now. So I'm going to go over to this slide 4 here, where I have a text box with all of this text in it with different bullet points. Now, when I animate a text box, and just like before, I'm going to click the Add Animation button in the Motion panel. And you can see I've got the same options for Appear and all of these different options here. Let's try something different and say Fly in from left like this. I can choose whether it's on click, after, or with previous, just like before. Let's keep this to on click this time. But with a text box, I've got this new option which says by paragraph, which means each time I click, the next paragraph of text, or in this case, the next bullet point of text, will show up. I'm going to keep this relatively fast. Let's make it 1.5 seconds like so, and then play to preview it like this. There's the transition. And you can see to start with, that text isn't on screen. And now I can click. It shows the first one. Click again. It shows the second paragraph, and so on each time I click. Once I'm happy, I just click the stop button here. And once your presentation's finished, you might want to make it a bit more interactive by having AI narrate it for you and turn it into something where viewers can even ask questions in real time. And you can do that with the Jotform Presentation Agent. The link to get started with this is in the description below. And all I'm going to do is click Try It Now here. And I'm given 3 different options. I can upload a presentation, I can generate one from scratch with AI, or I can import from a URL. So with Google Slides, I'm going to go back to this presentation that I have, and I want to make sure that it's shared so that the presentation agent is able to see it. So I click on the share button at the top. I'm going to change it from restricted to anyone with the link. And then I'm going to click the copy link button here, go back to the presentation agent, choose that import from URL option and put that presentation link in here and click import. So the presentation agent has imported all of the slides. And before I show you how we're going to make edits, let me just click this preview toggle up at the top here to show you what has actually happened. And I'm going to click play.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into the creative brief for EcoGadget's upcoming product launch in the third.
So you can see the agent has taken all the slides and then written a script to actually present this presentation for me using all of the context from inside it. Not only that though, if I skip along to some different slides here, then any audience member watching this can ask a question by clicking the button at the bottom of the screen and literally speaking their question out loud. For example, what age group are we going for?
I understand you're asking about the target age group. The focus is on millennials and older Generation Z, specifically those aged 25 to 40.
So the agent is using all of the context from the presentation to answer those questions. If you want to make edits, you just come out of this preview by clicking that toggle again. And at the bottom of this screen, I can click to view all of the slides. And if I choose one of these slides, there's always the edit slide button on the right-hand side. That allows me then to edit the script on that slide, which will be read by the agent. And if I want to, I can even add questions that the agent will ask the audience at different points in the presentation. And you're not limited just to that one voice that it starts with. If I click on the train button at the top of the screen here, I can go over to AI persona and then scroll down on this page, and I've got a few different options. One is the tone of voice. I can keep it as professional, but you could choose casual or more friendly. And further down, I can choose which voice is going to be used to read that script. Right now it's Jessica, but I can click change, and there are lots of other voices I can choose from and preview here as well. And this isn't the only way that Jotform integrates with Google Slides. You can also use this integration with Zapier to take responses when a Jotform is submitted and create a new presentation, or refresh a chart that exists in a Google Slides presentation with that new response data. That would be super helpful and save you doing manual edits. I hope it was helpful to see how to create transitions and animations inside Google Slides, and also to see how Google Slides can be imported by the Jotform Presentation Agent to deliver that presentation with a script for you. Remember, you can also start from scratch and have it create a presentation, and the links to get started are in the description. If the video is helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.